Gen Z is entering the workforce with new perspectives and expectations.
In this podcast, we're here to listen to their stories and experiences, their successes and frustrations, and help employers understand the mindset and perspectives of the up-and-coming workforce.
Employers can't dictate what their young employees find meaningful. What they can do, however, is empower them to create their own sense of purpose and authentic connections.
Our curriculum is designed to help them do exactly that. East Valley Leader Lab is committed to paving the way for more curious, engaged, and connected young professionals in the workplace. Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Eskew. This is Amanda Stradling, and we are East Valley Leader Lab, and this is our podcast, Mind and Body at Work. If what you hear on the show today resonates, we hope that you'll check out the link in the show notes that talks about our latest offer, which is helping Gen Z thrive in the workplace. And as always, please like, share, or subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. So today, Amanda and I would like to talk about who might benefit from our leadership curriculum. So in this season, we've been focusing mostly on young professionals entering the workforce, and we definitely think they will benefit. We see them benefiting, but we also think that in these times when things seem a little bit stressful for everybody in a lot of different domains of life, we wanted to remind people that we offer our leadership curriculum to anybody who might need it. And so we thought we'd just talk a little bit today about some of the reasons that you might be interested in learning more about an embodied practice through our curriculum.
Absolutely. It can be hard for us to see so many people that are struggling through their work and through their life, feeling kind of stuck, maybe overwhelmed, maybe just discouraged right now.
Yeah.
When we feel we have a solution that can help. We've seen it help in our own lives and many of the lives of the students that we've already taught. So yeah, we are excited to offer this. And we have a new cohort for our Class 1 that's starting several times every year. And we believe it's more relevant now than it was when we first started offering these courses before COVID, about 6 years ago. What are some of the benefits for people?
Yeah. So, one of the first one that comes to mind for me, because it was a big one for me that I benefited out of embodied practice, was anxiety, reducing anxiety. So, I didn't really think of myself as an anxious person, but I've talked about it before. I was putting myself out in front of a lot of people on a regular basis, and I had a lot of coping mechanisms because I was a little bit afraid that my head might blow off, if I made a mistake, that it would be the end of the world. And so a key thing that these embodied practices did for me was help me see that I was creating this, I eventually called it a background anxiety. It was there all the time. And I was creating it through the way I thought about how I had to be in front of these people. And it was keeping me both from being as productive and helpful as I could with my clients and, just kind of making me miserable. So as we've taught this class to people over the years, I've run into a number of people who have said, yeah, I know what you mean. I have that anxiety too. And so all those people out there who feel that at different times, particularly in your work, we have a solution to that through our 3-course curriculum. It helped me a lot. And one of the things that we've been able to do at the Leader Lab is take what for me was a 4 to 5 year course and boil it down to these 3 5-week classes. And we know that we've gotten to the essence of what I was getting out of those 4 to 5 years. And so you don't need to invest that much time. You don't need to invest that much money.
Yeah, we've distilled, for me, years and years of full-time martial art practice, day in, day out, that I've been able to take the key concepts and takeaways that have helped impact my life professionally the most, and they're baked into our curriculum. So yeah, we've really gotten at the heart of some pretty intense training on both of our parts.
Exactly. So what comes to mind for you when you think about who would most benefit from our courses?
Well, something that we're seeing a lot, and that I think is so common right now, people are struggling with their attention spans and their focus. Whether you're diagnosed with ADHD or not, attention is kind of something people are struggling with, and it's getting in the way of their work life and their relationships. And that phone scrolling, that the clips are getting shorter and shorter, it's wiring our brains to have less and less attention and need more constant stimulation. Not saying like, don't scroll, don't use your phone, but I'm saying that an embodied practice has given me the tools, and many others, the ability to kind of have an off switch. And when you're in your body, your brain sort of relaxes and opens up, and you start to notice more details. I remember one of my students, we were training together, and she just made up a new form, this really beautiful routine. And I was like, that's awesome. That's so great. And she said, yeah, when you have Tai Chi, you're never bored. And
yeah,
which was so unique. She was actually a senior in high school at the time, so pretty young, an age when a lot of people are struggling with focus, but it had just really helped her relax into her body, and you just are present and you notice so much more, and you're able to connect better, do your work better, focus more.
Exactly.
So that attention span piece is a big deal.
And I would challenge our listeners, because most of us have a scrolling habit. And, I sometimes think of it as I'm going to take a break from work. I'm going to relax and look at my phone. But I would challenge you to catch yourself mid-scroll and just ask yourself, am I breathing? Am I relaxed? Can I feel my body? Is there any tension in my body? Are my shoulders tense right now? Is my neck tense right now? I think you'll find that while you might think you're taking a break, you're probably actually tensing up your entire nervous system. And you need to be able to get out of that. And that's what embodied practices are about.
Great tip. That actually brings us into another important benefit that I think is really relevant right now, is maintaining an optimistic and positive, we call it an opening mood around life, when we are being fed a pretty steady onslaught of negative material in our scrolling and in the news, even in our entertainment. It can be a little heavy sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, and it's easy to get into that loop when you're hearing something that you don't agree with, and you just start having these negative thoughts about it and the people that are talking about it. So how do you get out of that? Well, one of the lessons of the opening mood is use your non-judgmental curiosity, right? So challenge yourself to ask, okay, is there any perspective from which what this person is saying could actually make some sense? Is there something here that I maybe wasn't considering before? The answer won't always be yes. But you need to give yourself a chance to break out of that negative loop.
It feels so much healthier and happier when you can approach someone that you might have before just disagreed with a little bit of curiosity.
Exactly.
You can work with people from that. Things can move forward. You don't feel as closed off. There's more hope.
New possibilities open up.
Yep, absolutely.
Another way that people have been benefiting from our courses, and we sort of prompt this in our curriculum. We ask people in the course to think about something in their life that they're not quite satisfied with, and it just seems to keep coming back. They find over time, over years, they keep coming back to, I wish this wasn't the way it is. And that's actually a healthy question to ask yourself. And what we do in the curriculum is help people examine where that is coming from. And it comes from our stories from when we were growing up. And, we have ways of helping you move through that. And so if there's dissatisfactions for you that you've just sort of decided you've resigned yourself that, oh, well, I'm always going to have to deal with that, we would say not necessarily. Embodied practice can help you through that.
Beautiful. Something I think a lot of people seem to be struggling with right now, and I don't know if COVID is something that's brought it more to our awareness, but I think people are having more and more health problems, and I think it's holding them back from productivity, or just feeling like their best, most powerful selves if you're not feeling well.
Right.
And it's so great having a physical practice that is gentle and holistic and really helps your whole nervous system. For me personally, Tai Chi has been a huge turnaround in my immune system and the well-being of my whole body. So it's something that's allowed me to be able to be productive and work and, be an active participant in my family life. And so yeah, you can take charge of your own health, even when the world is a little bit unsteady and things are hard and maybe it can feel hard to be healthy. This practice can empower you to have a healthy body.
Great. I was going to add to that, but you did a good job. I think you've covered it. Another one that I think is showing up for a lot of people these days is a sense of overwhelm. So in the class, we often talk about a sense of overwhelm that you can get at work if you are not very good at saying no, and you're constantly taking on more and feeling kind of obligated to do that. That there are embodied practices to help you with that, as well as what we teach about the commitment and commitment conversations, and how saying no actually plays a very productive role in that. That's overwhelm at work. What we're seeing right now is people being overwhelmed in all the different domains of their life, right? There's the political stress out there. There's people worried about climate change. There's economic stress is, more and more in the news these days. So having a way to get your arms around overwhelm. What is it? What is it that you're doing that might be causing overwhelm? And then a way out of that loop. It's one of the key things that people often talk about after they've gone through our course.
For me and for a lot of the students I've taught, one of the biggest takeaways is just personal power and confidence. I remember how novel when my teacher would say, cultivate your personal power. And I almost didn't understand what that meant because I started my journey when I was very young, as you know, if you've listened to our previous podcasts. I was not confident, and that the confidence that he was able to help me build and incorporate into my body and my nervous system has really helped change the trajectory of my life.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well. Was very helped through that with the program that I went through. For example, if you would have told me, 3 years ago that we're going to set you down with Amanda in front of a camera and we just want you to talk about one of the topics, in your courses, that would have freaked me out. But we practice doing that now. But the reason we can practice doing that is because of the embodied practices that we have in the background. So I think that's the last message we want to leave you with is, as we've said before, embodied practice. There are techniques and tips we can give you for certain situations, but an embodied practice, embodied leadership, is about having a practice in your body that you can draw from. And it takes some time to develop that, but one of the benefits of our courses at the Leader Lab is we've learned to compress time, right? From a 4-year course down to 3 5-week programs that we recommend you take some time in between those courses. So maybe it's a 6 to 9 month program instead of a 4-year program. In my case, I paid tens of thousands of dollars to go through that long program with lots of live conferences. It was worth every penny to me, but I'm very happy that, in this era of people being concerned about affordability, we brought that down to maybe, $1,000 per course. So you could get the whole curriculum for about $3,000. We think that's a fantastic value proposition, and we're glad that we can share it. And we hope people will take advantage.
Great. Well, until next time, our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to meeting you in an upcoming course and helping empower you to live a great, big, beautiful life. And until next time, be well and keep moving. This has been Mind and Body at Work with the East Valley Leader Lab. Please click on the link in the show notes for a description of our newest offer, Helping Gen Z Thrive at Work. This is our embodiment training to help new young workers integrate into your organization.
As always, if this content resonates with you and your cares, please like, share, and/or subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Be well and keep moving.